This is TechCrunch.
The iron core transformer is the 140-year-old technology that props up both the electrical grid and AI companies. The devices are clunky but reliable, which explains why they are still in use. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yet as the data center power demand skyrockets and batteries and renewables carve out larger portions of the grid, the ancient technology might finally be hitting its limit. Fortunately, their electronic replacement, the solid-state transformer, could be having its moment, and not a moment too soon. In the last few months, startups specializing in solid-state transformers have raised $280 million. The technology promises to slash the number of components needed by data centers, improve the stability of the grid, and shrink the footprint of power conversion equipment. Now, Hyperscale Power says it can slim things down even further. Daniel Rothman, co-founder and CEO at Hyperscale Power, told TechCrunch, "We have not seen something that is as small as our system will be." To build a prototype of the transformer, Hyperscale recently raised a €5 million seed round led by World Fund and V-Squared Ventures, the company exclusively told TechCrunch. In the past couple of years, the solid-state transformer market went from nearly non-existent to almost crowded. Among the competitors are Ampersand, which was incubated by Temasek's early-stage fund. There's DG Matrix, which counts industrial giant ABB as an investor. And then there is Heron Power, which was founded by a former Tesla executive and is backed by Andreessen Horowitz. Now, together, those companies have raised over $330 million. That's according to PitchBook. Hyperscale would appear to be late to the party, but both Rothman and his co-founder, Sammy Pedersen, have been working on the technology for a while. Rothman especially. He completed his PhD in part by designing and building a 99.1% efficient solid-state transformer. All solid-state transformers are smaller than iron core equivalents, but Hyperscale says it has a way to go further by building a transformer that can work at much higher frequencies than competitors. When power enters the transformer, it will be stepped up to something in the tens of kilohertz range. It's transformed into the required voltage and then stepped back down to the necessary frequency. Size increasingly matters inside data centers as the power density of server racks increases. The latest NVIDIA racks consume more than 100 kilowatts of power, and the company is already preparing for 1 megawatt racks, enough to power up to 1,000 homes. At those scales, the transformers and rectifiers required to prepare electricity for the servers will balloon in size, with Rothman saying it's more than twice as large as the server racks itself. The aggressive roadmaps being developed by AI companies and data center developers have made solid-state transformers almost a necessity. It will actually slow down the progress in scaling up data centers, Rothman says, if you don't have solid-state transformers ready quite soon. It's not a question of if solid-state transformers will come, it's a question of when they will come. YouTube is expanding its likeness detection technology, which identifies AI-generated deepfakes to a pilot group of government officials, political candidates, and journalists. That's according to a company announcement on Tuesday. Members of the pilot group will gain access to a tool that detects unauthorized AI-generated content and lets them request its removal if they believe it violates YouTube policy. The technology itself launched last year to roughly 4 million YouTube creators in the YouTube Partner Program following earlier tests. Similar to YouTube's existing Content ID system, which detects copyright-protected material in users' uploaded videos, the likeness detection feature looks for simulated faces made with AI tools. Now, these tools are sometimes used to try to spread misinformation and manipulate people's perception of reality, as they leverage the deep deepfaked personas of notable figures like politicians or other government officials to say and do things in these AI videos that they actually didn't do in real life. With the new pilot program, YouTube aims to balance users' free expression with the risks associated with AI technology that can generate a convincing likeness of a public figure. Leslie Miller, YouTube's Vice President of Government Affairs and Public Policy, said after Tuesday's launch, "This expansion is really about the integrity of the public conversation. We know that the risks of AI impersonation are particularly high for those in the civic space. But while we are providing this new shield, we are also being careful about how we use it." Miller explained that not all of the detected matches would be removed when requested. Instead, YouTube would evaluate each request under its existing privacy policy guidelines to determine whether the content is parody or political critique, which are protected forms of free expression. The company noted it is advocating for these protections at a federal level, too, with its support for the No Fakes Act in D.C., which would regulate the use of AI to create unauthorized recreations of an individual's voice and visual likeness. To use the new tool, eligible pilot testers must first prove their identity by uploading a selfie and a government ID. They can then create a profile, view the matches that show up, and optionally request their removal. YouTube says it plans to eventually give people the ability to prevent uploads of violating content before they go live, or possibly allow them to monetize those videos, similar to how its Content ID system works. The company would not confirm which politicians or officials would be among its initial testers, but said the goal is to make the technology broadly available over time. These AI videos will be labeled as such, but the placement of these labels is not consistent. For some, the label appears in the video's description, while videos focused on more sensitive topics will apply the label to the front of the video. This is the same approach YouTube takes with all AI-generated content. Amjad Hanif, YouTube's Vice President of Creator Products, talking about the label's placement, says there's a lot of content that is produced with AI. But that distinction's actually not material to the content itself. It could be a cartoon that is generated with AI. And so there's a judgment on whether it's a category that maybe merits from a very visible disclaimer. YouTube is not currently sharing how many removals of these sorts of AI deepfakes have been managed by this deepfake detection technology in the hands of creators, but noted that the amount of content removed so far has been very small. Hanif said, "I think for a lot of creators, it's just been the awareness of what's being created, but the volume of actually removal requests is really, really low because most of it turns out to be fairly benign or additive to their overall business. That may not be the case with deepfakes or government officials, politicians, or journalists. In time, YouTube intends to bring its deepfake detection technology to more areas, including recognizable spoken voices and other intellectual property like popular characters." That's it from TechCrunch. For more stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.